And it is now time for your Wednesday Wellness Wake Up, brought to you by Napa Massage and Body Care. And welcome, Dr. Sharon. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Kelly. It's a beautiful day to be alive during the holidays in
Yes.
Napa Valley. And speaking of the holidays, I've been thinking a lot about ways in which we can cope with stress over this holiday season and family stress, and really bring more joy into the holidays. And what better way to talk about family than to bring a family member with me? So I brought my daughter in today. Alexis, good morning.
How nice.
Good morning, Mom. Good morning, Kelly.
So nice of you to wake up early and come and talk about the ways in which the three big, pieces of advice we have about ways to cope with family stress over the holidays. Alexis and I have talked a lot about this. We're both writers, and I just blogged about a piece of this on the Huffington Post 2 days ago, and we had a lot of discussions about different ways, pieces of advice we could give around this holiday season. And I think the first one is what I call decision to love. And it's really one that a friend of mine coined years ago when talking about like our primary relationships and how do we go into this holiday season? How do we go into a family dinner? How do we go into a moment where the house is filled with maybe relatives we don't see all the time? And how do we act? And decision to love really became one of these key phrases that would run through my head. How can we be together and think when somebody's saying something maybe that is a trigger? How do we say, ooh, what does that person really feeling today? Alexis, do you want to check in on decision to love?
Yeah, this is my mom's motto, decision to love. It's that good reminder to take a second and think to yourself, I'm just going to make the decision to love. And you don't need to say something inflammatory, and you don't need to get mad at the person. You can just kind of move on, take it, decision to love.
I kind of call it like giving more hugs and more compliments. When someone is saying, when someone is beginning that conversation that tends to bring up a lot of tension, stop for 1 second, say, decision to love, and say, oh, you look so beautiful today. Is that a new dress? Just totally flip it around.
Divert into something positive.
You know what this reminds me of? My favorite of my mom's advice for the holidays. You don't have to say everything you think. I think this is one of the things that's going to make my marriage work forever.
Thank
it works
you.
for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't always have to say everything you think.
Right.
It makes a big difference.
I like that. I think I could use that one.
Yeah, I think it was one of these revelationary moments for people like Alexis and I, and probably you too, Kelly, where we are very expressive and we have a lot of opinions, and people we're close to, we want to hear all of our opinions and everything we think. And certainly the closest family members, it's almost like if we don't tell them, then we're not being totally honest. Well, I have come to this conclusion very recently that that's not necessary. We can think anything we want, but we can editorialize ourselves. Right. And just, not everybody needs to know everything. And I think this is one of the things Alexis and I just talked a lot about recently, and just said, geez, wouldn't it be wonderful if sometimes when you say something you don't get that, you didn't really buy that sweater for me, did you? What? Did you need to say that?
Oh, gosh, I've never experienced that. Does that happen?
It does.
I can't imagine. In fact, there was some discussion like on different message boards and stuff, being vegan and everything. And what if someone gives you a gift that's made of leather? Do you give it? Oh, yeah, I'll give it right back and say, I can't accept this. I thought, oh, how horrible. I would just be so happy with anything anyone gave me and the love that was behind it.
Yeah, see?
How in the world could you go, well, I can't use this?
Well, yeah, which really brings us to which really brings us to our third piece of advice. So the first one was decision to love. The second was don't say everything you think. It's that one.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, well,
it's so true. It's so
It's
true.
so true. And certainly as assertive personalities, it's actually a really good reminder.
Yeah. It's like, when your mother says to you, I don't know if I ever really said this to Alexis, but I remember my mother saying it to me. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Sure.
Isn't that an old line that we hear?
Yes, it is.
It's the same one. Now, moving on to the third one.
Okay.
Now, the third one's, I think, a little more difficult, but I do think it's a really good piece of advice. And that is when you're going into a family situation or, a situation that sometimes ends up triggering a lot of emotion, treat your friends and your and your family, your close friends and family, as you would an acquaintance or a colleague. The way you respond to your boss, the way you respond to someone who works in the cubicle next to you at work is very different.
Right.
The way you respond to your sibling or your mom. You wake up cranky in the morning. You don't go into work and go, ah, but you might have done that to your little brother. That's,
Right.
So it's really that, it's.
Right. It's a good flag for you to say, I can put up a little bit of a filter here
Right.
and be more polite.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. It's smile more. When someone says something that you may not agree with, smile and just listen. You were saying, Kelly, that your family are all good listeners.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh.
I said, I was kidding around. I said, my family's perfect. We don't need any of these.
I took you seriously.
I did too.
I mean, nobody's perfect.
I didn't mean perfect, but you said that your family was great. You're really good listeners.
I know. I don't. I think you misheard me. I'm sorry. I didn't say the word listeners, but no, we're all talkers. They're all like me. Almost all of them. We're all talkers and high energy, but we have a lot
Oh,
fun together. We really do.
That's so funny. I'm picturing you this very quiet family all listening to one another.
Oh, heck no. We are loud and multiply me by 15 or 20, and then you'll know what our Christmas is like. It's
That's
fun
great.
and boisterous. But were you going to say it's important to listen?
Yeah, so that was part of it.
We could learn that. Okay.
Yeah, it's important as you're sitting around the table that it's not always, your memory isn't the only memory that's around the table. Your thoughts about the family, is not the only thought that's there.
Yeah.
And certainly with, when you have this blending of families now, you have the in-laws and the brother-in-law and the new, stepdad and his children. There's a lot of things we don't know about those family members. So listening and learning more about them is a way to really kind of bring up the closeness, and drop some of the barriers because memories, memories sometimes trigger very, very deep emotional feelings. And when you have someone smiling, hold people's hands. Just hold a hand of your grandma or your uncle. Or it's amazing once you connect to in the touch, everything seems some of those nastier, grumbly feelings kind of reduces. We Alexis and I, we have so many fun family memories about things how we did cope with family. Do we want to tell a family story?
Why don't you tell them, Mom, about my lovely grandmother, my dad's mom, wasn't the most fabulous cook. So why don't you tell them, Mom, about how you coped during our holidays at my grandma's?
This is a true story. We went year after year, and as I was getting older and becoming more and more particular and a better cook, I became less and less tolerant of the very bad meals we were facing during a holiday.
Think very dry turkey, like twice cooked turkey is essentially what happened.
So my way of coping was that I decided that, when Alexis just got old enough to be safe around an oven,
really just old enough.
I would send her in to be the
sous chef.
So I would say, "Oh, you help Grandma." I would just not be able to cope at all in the kitchen. So I would send the kids in to help cook, and I think Alexis really did improve those meals.
Yeah, maybe because they were hot, but for no other reason than that.
But it was a really good way because it was a time that she got to spend with her grandma. It totally took me out of the. It took me out of.
You were in the living room
because that was a hot
meditating.
spot for you. That was something that bothered you. So you removed yourself from the situation.
That was your decision to love,
rather than trying to change her.
Exactly.
Right.
And maybe upset her and criticize her. You just removed yourself.
Yeah, and that was a decision to love moment. There's no doubt about it. Anyway,
was it a decision to love me? Is the question. Leaving me in the kitchen all alone.
But you had that bonding time with your grandmother.
I did.
But also, the whole, like you were talking about, the triggering comments and stuff. And I was thinking of stories from your past that maybe you don't want dredged up again. Or sometimes we fall into those roles.
Right.
Like this is the bad one. And this is the quiet one. And this is the, whatever those roles that you fall into that you are not that way anymore as an adult. But also there's topics of conversation that are kind of taboo, like politics.
Oh.
You're all from the same family, but guaranteed, there's going to be some differences of opinions when it comes to hot topics.
So true.
And so maybe it's
Absolutely.
better just to stay off of those topics altogether.
Yeah, I really have always had this vision, and I don't know if there's really a family out there that does it, but there must be, of like people singing, around the piano and singing. Yeah, I just love that idea.
Roasting chestnuts.
Yeah, people doing things together, playing games, playing cards, singing, doing charades. Now they have all, the Wii and the Connect and all that, doing all those sing-alongs and karaoke. And, I love that idea. You don't have to sit around and try to find the topics that are going to
Right.
disagree with. Those Wii and Connect and all those games where you're actually now you can, sing off against a partner and see who had the, I wouldn't want to do that against you, Kelly. You've got that perfect
Well, we have a
voice.
musical family, so sometimes we can all bring your guitars and do a little
Yeah.
jam.
That's fun.
That's really, to me, that's
Yeah.
family time. That's a way to cope because you've reduced you've reduced the stress and you're just doing something that you all love and enjoy besides this
Right.
opening present,
Right.
Well, this has been so fun. Alexis, thanks so
Yeah,
much for
it's really
coming
nice
on
to
the
meet
show.
you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so proud of Alexis. She's really turned from a lawyer to a writer these days. So you can find her on Forbes.com, right, Alexis? And you have a website now?
I do. www.alexissclamberg.com.
That's a mouthful.
And spell
A-L-E.
that.
Yeah.
It's ALEXISSCLAM, like Mary, BERG.com.
Oh, okay. It doesn't seem so difficult when you spell it out.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, good. Well, we'll look for you then.
Thank you.
So happy holidays to everyone. Enjoy your family. Bring a little more joy into your day. And Kelly, you have a wonderful holiday yourself. And
Thank you. You too.
I'll see you in the new year.
All right. We'll see you next year. That's Dr. Sharon Ufberg, Wednesday Wellness Wake Up, brought to you by Napa Massage and Body Care, helping the Napa community and its visitors to relax and be well since 1999.